world. My name is Adebusui Olutayo Olumadewa from Wildlife My Jesus Christ Story. How are you doing today? This is the day that the Lord has made, and we are glad and we are rejoicing in it. I'm so happy to let you know that it's another wonderful edition of parenting on Wildlife My Jesus Christ Story with Theme Carl comprises of Chukwueke Carl Ogu and Florence Carl Ogu based in Lagos, Nigeria. And today we will continue what we started on the topic parenting as a big deal in today's world. It's important that we know that parenting is just a minute going live with them on Instagram. It's important we let the world know that parenting is a big deal in today's world. And it's important we let every parent know the importance of parenting in why we are alive today. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, male and female all over the world, welcome to another wonderful edition of Parenting on Wildlife TV. I'll be joining in few minutes. My guest will be live with me on all the platform. And I want to remind you all over the world again that we are live on YouTube, on Wildlife page, we are live on Facebook on Wildlife page, and we are live on my personal page on Facebook as well. So if you are on the Facebook, you can please share so that a lot of people will learn this wonderful evening from Lagos, Nigeria. Sorry, a lot of people will learn. A lot of people are going to learn, and it's about learning on what to do, because when you know what to do, you're going to be a victim. So while we wait for our guests to come back online now, we just want to remind you the Family Lifetime Conference on Wildlife My Jesus Christ Story is scheduled to be on the March is scheduled for May 15th, 2021, and it's going to be awesome. We're going to be streaming from we're going to be streaming from um we'll be streaming from wow. Thank you. It's good to see you, great couple. How are you doing this wonderful evening from Lagos, Nigeria? How are you doing, sir?
Amazing, amazing. Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me? We are live now.
We are live.
Yeah, we are live.
Thank you. We are live. How are you doing?
Yeah, we're fine. Can you hear us? Can you hear properly?
I can hear you loud and
Awesome.
clear. I can hear you loud and clear.
Awesome. Good.
Good, and it's clear, but there's some. I think I have some visual lighting problem on your Instagram page. Maybe it's kind of
Okay,
dark.
okay. Can just give us a minute to fix that then.
Okay.
Okay. So while they're fixing that, I just want to let you know that our Family Lifetime Conference on Wildlife My Jesus Christ Story TV is on the 15th of May 2021 from 2 p.m. West African time, which is 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, United States. And we'll be streaming from this platform, Zoom platform, to YouTube and to all other platforms. It's going to be awesome. Why? Because it's going to be question and answer session only. It's going to be question and answer session only, and it's going to be for four families. And we're going to be unveiling the Joker for the whole world on that day. So I'm so happy to let you know that that has been fixed. So we go straight to today's edition of Wildlife My Jesus Christ Story with Tim Cow. Over to you, Tim Cow. Can you hear me? How are you
Yep.
doing
So
this
def
wonderful evening?
Oh, very well, very well,
Ladies and
very well.
gentlemen, if you're on Facebook, just want you to know you can share this, keep sharing, let the world join us. Let us share. If you're on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, you can share this. You can share this. So while we go straight to why we're here, Tim Carl, are you live with me?
Oh, definitely,
Yes,
yeah.
we are. Is
Thank
it
you
better? Is
so.
it better on Instagram now?
I guess it's kind of dark, but I think it's kind of dark. But it's perfect on StreamYard. But on Instagram, we got guests. We're gonna be having some people joining us all over the world. It will be a disservice for them because it's not really clear over there.
How is it
Okay.
now?
Wow, it's getting better. It's getting better.
Okay.
Getting better. Get up. Better. Anyway, let's keep it. Let's move on it. At least it will adjust itself in a few minutes. So, how has it been? If I'm going to ask him, how has it been with you over there, sir?
Amazing, amazing. Great to be here as
It's
always.
great to be here. Wow, thank you so much. How's my audio over there?
Oh, amazing,
Very well.
beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So today we'll continue what we started a few weeks ago on parenting as the as the project big deal. Just give us a cap before we move into this session of what you talked about in terms of parenting, the nurturing, in terms of upbringing, in terms of environment. Before we move to the key things that is sensitive today's on today's edition of Parenting with Tim Carl. Over to you, Tim Carl. A session, a word from Madam and a word from Papa. Ha 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 ha. All right, we're
Okay.
live.
All right. Well, I the last time we talked about nurturing, and I remember we mentioned. I mean, going by the word nurturing, we mentioned that the bulk of parenting, like whatever the child turns out to become later in life, is largely dependent on the kind of nurturing, on the kind of foundation you give to the child. All right. And I think at some point we also mentioned that there is um there's a time frame to that kind of intentional nurturing. Like Carl would always say, imagine you trying to, trying to instill certain things into a teenager. You will break the teenager when you're trying to bend the teenager. So we just kept emphasizing on the fact that it is important for us to start early. It is important for us to sow the right seed. And we said nurturing is like sowing a seed. And after you have sown the seed, what do you do? What do you do to the seed? So the process of garden. Just think, for instance, you've planted maize. When you plant maize, you need to do a lot of intentional nurturing and, um, by removing the weeds. The weeds has got to do with the kind of information. The age we are in is something else. All right. I think one of the things we even mentioned that it was Carl that said that most parents are trying to play catch up because we're in a digital world where if intentional nurturing doesn't take place, you will think you have your children, but you have lost them. So nurturing is just important. And when we talk about nurturing, we talk about the seeds. What kind of information do you put into them? What kind of time do you spend with them? And I mean, the list goes on and on.
Hey,
So some-
Coach, over to you, Coach, Captain Coach. Over to.
Thank you, sir. And I think one of the high points of our discussion last week was the fact that um, we we were very clear that we should have this understanding at the back of our minds that we are not parenting children that will live in our generation.
Generation. Yeah.
We are parenting children that will live in a different generation. And we are parenting based on the information we have today,
Yeah.
to make them suitable for the world they will live in tomorrow. So most times we should stop this parenting as if we're parenting children who will live in today's world. And so we should equip them to be strong enough to be able to have some certain strengths within them that will carry them through, irrespective of the situations or circumstances that will become of our world in the near future. So that was another very important uh,
Point.
point that we raised last week. Thank you, sir.
Fantastic. We are parenting children that are believing for tomorrow, not children that are believing for today, which means the days ahead are much more higher than the present day now. So
Yes.
what now happens to the to the parents who really doesn't understand or who really doesn't take cognizance of the days ahead? Over to you. What happened to them, and how can parents adjust themselves to meet the challenges of tomorrow?
Well, parents that are still, I call parent. I say, what I use for them. I say they live in denial. They are either living in denial or in ignorance. But whichever way, it won't exempt them from the consequences. Whether you're living in denial or you're living in ignorance. Now, living in denial says, I think I have an idea of what is happening, but I intentionally do not want to pay a lot of attention to it. So you can choose to maybe pray your way around it. Even if we know that when you pray, you get knowledge, God drops something in your heart, like a knowledge or a book, or talk to someone, a parenting expert or something that will make you parent properly. Those are the things, that can drop in your heart. But sometimes we pray with our ears closed. So some of those parents are living in denial. Then ignorance, living in ignorance is to say that these people have come again. I'm not sure. I mean, you're not aware of what is happening. So either ways, I am, I am scared for them. I am scared for such parents because a lot of things are glaring at us already. So if such parents are listening to us, whether those that are living in denial or those that are living in ignorance, I just want to say to them that it's important for us to wake up. It is important for you to wake up to the reality that I didn't cause. I didn't bring about this reality. It's staring at us. It is there for us. And parenting experts like us, we are just trying to do our best to bridge the gap. So I would just want to let them know that their denial or ignorance will not wipe away this reality. It won't wipe it away. So the earlier they sit up, the earlier they accept the fact that parenting has to be extremely intentional these days. Extremely intentional, the better for them. And when we talk about being intentional, um, I sent a message, like we know, I've always said I run a parenting community. And so most of them that registered their kids for our academy, I sent a message to them because the feedback was really amazing. And so I sent to them to say that since we are doing our part and we are getting this kind of feedback, it is important for you as a parent to do your own part. And one of the things I said was that you need to replace conversation for yelling. So instead of yelling, you need to begin to have conversations with these children. You are not just doing that to hear from them, you're also teaching them. Well, for every time you yell at them, you are telling them that the best way to communicate is to yell. And for every time you have a conversation with them, you're telling them that they have a brain and they can tap into their brain, a brain that can help them communicate. Human beings should be able to constructively communicate. And the second thing I told them is that this age and time, parents should begin to ask, why did you do this, or how, or why did you? I mean, the why and not how could you. So rather than saying how could you do this, it is important to say why did you do this. So we need to stop those our cultural ways of parenting. It is disempowering. It is high
mm,
time we began to face the facts and see that help is available as long as we are humble enough to get one.
awesome. Captain,
So one of the questions we normally ask during our business conversations is that, did anybody plan for COVID?
mm,
Um, Retired, do you seem to understand that question? Did you plan for
I
COVID?
do. No, no, no one, no one. It just came like a tip in the night.
Okay. Did you in 2020 or 2019, did you take any course to prepare you for COVID, the world after
After
COVID?
COVID.
No.
And that's the way it is with parenting. There's nothing that can prepare us for what will happen in the future.
Mm,
Um, for example, what we call family today, it's not what we grew up to as a family, father, mother, children. Today, the definitions of families have changed in various parts of the world. Um, and, we are having so much conversations around gender. Um, who is a he, who is a she?
the it.
Who's, I mean, these are discussions we never had growing up. We never saw a world that would talk about this in the near future. And these are just teasers and pointers to what the world, I mean, what we expect. The world is a very dynamic place, and the truth is we can never ever fully understand what our children will grapple with 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Today we are talking about so many things on social media. Who understood, who knew? I mean, in 1995, Ratayo, if they had told you that you'll be sharing messages on WhatsApp, would you ever imagine that there would be anything like WhatsApp, right? So the truth is, as we progress as a race, as humanity, we can never be fully prepared for the things that will come in the future, whether physical, whether technological, whether emotional, psychological. We would never fully be prepared. However, it is important to raise children who can stand their own, irrespective
Yeah,
of what they come across.
yeah.
So you're not just raising children who will be able to function within a 21st century, but children who are also prepared. And these discussions are the discussions that our schools also, especially in this part of the world, have failed to address. When they are raising, or when they are trying to to prepare an accountant, by the time the accountant is fully developed in the university, the accountant is not prepared for the real world. Is not prepared for a job place, is not prepared to solve real life problems. And so the accountant will have to graduate and start writing ICANN or start writing ACCA to be fully suitable for real world situations.
Mm,
So, and that's the same way we've parented. We just parent for the sake of parenting, or people go to school for the sake of going to school. And they are not fully prepared for real life situations. And so it's important that as we raise parents, we have that at the back of our mind, that these children need to be equipped well enough, because there will be no expo. Your your parents will not follow you into the future if you're lucky enough to live long, to tell you what to do all the time, right? You need to be parented adequately and given the necessary support to be able to go through life pretty much.
wow, wow,
Okay,
wow. You
sorry,
know,
just to buttress on that a bit, to say that, I mean, while Carl was talking, a lot of things were running through my mind to say that truly nobody has gone ahead to the future. to see what is there. But we have an idea of some of the changes. I mean, experience has taught us. Like he was asking, when you were going to even broadcast like this. I mean, Zoom, COVID came and everybody we started doing things at home. All right. So now having seen this, and we know that it can only get higher. So we have not gone ahead. However, we are not left without something. And that was one of the things Carl said that however, it is important to train children, to raise up children that can function. For instance, we don't know the things that a fish will probably meet in the sea, but a fish should be properly trained to swim properly, no matter what
No matter the water.
no matter the water. I mean, if it's a bucket or an ocean or whatever. So you need to properly train the fish to say that this is the limits. You can, I mean, there can be storms. How do you swim when there is a storm? Now, remember, perhaps the fish has never seen a storm, but we know that for every, I mean, if the fish needs water to survive, there are different kinds of water. You know, it can be bucket water, it can be a pond,
So
it can be salt water, just different things. So we're saying that you just need to train the fish for the worst. I mean, to face with everything. That is what we should do now. And that is why the technique has changed. That's why. So imagine you are thinking of raising children for the future and you're not even using the present technique, you're using the past. So you are really, I mean, your old school is
old school oats.
you're the old school of old school. You get it? So it's not as if your syllabus has expired. Your syllabus
You
I
don't have
want
a
to
syllabus.
you don't okay, never existed. Can't say you don't have a syllabus. So that's just the point to say that it is important for us to know that as much as we do not know what is there, but there are tools that are available that can help parents to parent in foresight.
Wow, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. I love that your analogy that it's important to train the fish to know how to maneuver, whether in the ocean or
Yeah.
in the sea or in the spring, or even whether how to dodge the hook so that I won't end up in the pot. That's beautiful. Now let's talk about let's discuss about parenting and the tech, the next gen, the Gen Z.
Yeah.
We have different generations now. Those the next generations, they call some generation Y Z, they call some generation Z. Do you understand? And I think the latest is Gen Z, who are born into this tech world, who believe they know even more than their parents
Yeah.
because techs give them ahead. What advantage does that have on the nation, and what the disadvantage does such have on the nation as well? Over to you, Captain and Mike.
Mhm.
Actually, go first. Okay.
Ladies.
Okay. You say ladies first because I've been coming first. I thought you should go. All right. So, what advantage do we have, or what advantage does the Gen Z or the anyone parenting Gen Z, what advantage they have, right? If I get
Definitely.
that correctly.
Yes,
Okay. Uh,
advantage and disadvantage.
yeah, of course, it will have its advantage, it will have its disadvantage, but we're discussing the advantage. Now, the world as a whole has changed. The world as a whole has changed. And whether we like it or not, there is a particular way that these children be. There's a particular way they will get instruction, not using the native intelligence now. So it's like saying that, I mean, they're even prepared for it. They are prepared for it. So that's why the analog parents will have to move to the digital. So the advantage is that they are set with the way that they are going to be receiving instruction. It is just for the parents to move from where they are and upgrade to that level because generation Z will not come down to meeting the analog parents, or I mean the generation of the parents. They will only remain there and even get higher from where they are. All right. So if parents are able to upgrade, if parents are able to understand the times and understand the techniques that is used for parenting the Gen Z, it becomes easy. Because imagine it's a tech world. Parents will have to embrace technology. It is a generation that wants their leaders to be charismatic. Parents will have to rise up to that, which is the future actually. Everybody, even I'm sure those parents are tired of where we are coming from. So that's the future. So those are part of the advantages. Parents are the like audacious leaders. They want like Carl will say sometimes, even in the Christendom, this is a generation that wants instant miracle. And trust me, this is the end time where the power of God will just, I mean, it will happen. There will be revival. So it looks like in the positive sense, these children are prepared for it already. So when we talk about the upper room experience, we're going to have it. This is a generation where the blind will receive sight now, not like we pray for days or fast for days. This is a generation where miracles will happen instantly. Those are some of the advantages. I mean, everything is just working towards the end time. It's now left for the parent because if it is not well channeled, this is the same generation that we can lose as fast as possible. So, like I said, everything that has its advantage also has its disadvantages. Now, the fact that most parents will unconsciously not rise up to the tools that are required to parent a Gen Z automatically make them to miss out on the effective parenting system and thereby creating a vacuum. And that will blow the disadvantage, I must say. It will blow it. Because the child has been exposed to technology, the child has been exposed to the kind of leadership, the child has been exposed to certain things, but there is no follow-up. You get it? There is no follow-up. And that is where issues begin to rise up. And that's why you see some children cannot even talk. Some Gen Z, they can't even talk to their parents. You hear them say
Wow.
things like they won't understand. And that's the truth. Because they're parenting from another map view of the world. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. All right.
Bring
So
your
maybe
mic
Couch
system
just
close.
So sorry, sir. I would like you to probably rephrase the question. I didn't get it.
Okay.
I didn't get it
With
from my own. I
when
just
the
want to rephrase
era
it.
of Gen Z, I said, and different generations. There are some they refer to as Generation Z, and there are some Generation Y, X. I'm saying is
Alpha
this:
generation.
what are the advantages of uh, advantage and disadvantages of those on the nation presently? Because in your word you said we've got to parent these people for the future. But one of the key things I actually want to talk about is parents going digital. So now one of the advantages is that mom just shared with us now is that parents need to raise their game, step up their game. So I'm asking you now, Captain, what are the more advantages you can share with with us on becoming a Generation Z parent and becoming Generation XY parent in today's world?
Okay, so we have Generation X, we have Generation Y, we
And
have
we have Z.
millennials, we
Oh,
have
we have
alpha
millennials.
gen yeah, we have the alpha generation currently.
Mm,
Um, one of the one of the I mean important denominators across all of these people is that they are all what we call digital natives.
mm,
So they are born into a digital world.
mm,
Um, and there is a consequence. So, like one of the conversations we're having with a couple of parents, you know, every world has its set of rules that governs it. So when we talk about the world, we understand that the world is governed by certain laws and certain rules. certain principles. For example, gravity, right? You cannot defy gravity in this world now. But in this world, we have different dimensions within the concept of this world. So you hear people say there is something called a spiritual world. Now, in the spiritual world, there are certain principles that guide the spiritual world, and you can't defy them, right? Now, within the context of this world, we have different worlds. So you say, oh, there is what we call the financial world. Now, in the financial world, there are principles and there are systems that guide the financial. Now, when you now talk about the digital world within the context of what we are discussing now, it means that there are certain principles that run and that 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 fund or that fuel digital world. And if all of these children are born as digital natives, born into the digital world, then we understand that it is commonplace that they are they have access to information. There is a lot of access. There is a lot of access. There's a lot of access to information. There's a lot of access in communication. There's a lot of access, connectivity around the world. So that is an advantage in itself that people can understand what is happening wherever they are at the snap of a finger. They know what's happening in Europe. They know what I mean. So it's just as if you you live in Europe while in Africa. Even people currently work in Europe, staying in Africa. So I mean, it's that. But one of the critical advantages is the fact that they need answers. So like I said,
Mm.
it's a Google generation. It's an Indomie noodles generation. Everything
Noodles.
has to be instant.
Instant noodles.
And when they demand answers, answers should be instant sometimes. And that's why they become impatient with their parents. You can imagine yourself, Ratayo. I'm sure when you were doing your project work, you take you take a stroll to the library and you spend hours there searching books, just to get something done. But today, while crossing your leg in the sitting room,
Just Google.
I have access to even more information than you had walking all the way to the library. And so, because they are used to instant results, it becomes a challenge when they cannot, the people parenting on models cannot show them that part. And that's where we need to strike a balance, trying to tell them, there is what we call process. There
Mm.
are seasons in life. And that's why you see all these children trying to make it or get rich quick, because it is part of the
The
digital
digital
culture
culture.
that everything should be fast, you know. But we need to educate them that it is not the same day you plant a corn that you harvest it. There are
Season.
seasons, right? And you need to go through that process. So that's one of the, and that's why you see that these digital natives can easily confront issues. I'm sure growing up, Ratayo, we were taught not to look elders in the eye and talk back to elders because it was something that was disrespectful at that point. Um, but with digital natives, they can confront and ask you questions and say, why are you actually doing this? And this, can be seen in all the protests around the world, from Hong Kong to America to to uh, to Nigeria with the NSAS thing, a lot of African countries and in Asia, Europe, and all. You see young people championing the cause for liberty, for freedom, and these are the things that come with being a digital native. These are some of the benefits that come with being a digital native. And so they want to express themselves. But here is the balance that as parents we need to bring to the table. Like I said, there are seasons for everything, and we should let people understand that you don't grow up in a day, right? There is no fast way of growing up in a day. You have to go through your process. Um, and when they talk about freedom, freedom, freedom all the time, I'm free. I want my freedom, you know. I tell my wife all the time,
Freedom is
nothing
not
is actually
free.
free. Nothing. Nobody has freedom. Nothing is actually free. Anywhere you see somebody free, it was actually paid
Paid
for by
for.
someone. It is always paid. Somebody always bears the cost. So when you
Mm.
see us saying, "Oh, we're an independent country," some people paid the price for us to be independent. It came at a cost, right? For those saying, "Oh, we are free, we have salvation," somebody paid the price.
Mm.
It may be free today, but somebody definitely paid the price. So when young people go about saying, talking about their freedom, it is because they do not understand the costs of the freedom that they abuse today. If they knew at what cost it came with, then I think some respect will be thrown into it in that perspective. So I think it's trying to find the balance really within this. But basically, we need to understand that with this generation, there are some principles that it runs on, and we need to find an alignment and also try to find a balance. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. The prof. You must own a university. Oh.
that's how, that's
Yes, sir. You
thank
must
you.
own parenting university because you really, really understand this. Our time is fast spent this wonderful evening. Tell us what we stand to gain in your academy. Because I know if you are doing this now, I could imagine if I'm in your academy, what I'm going to gain as a parent, what I'm going to gain as a student if I'm with you for few sessions. Tell us about your academy. Tell us about what we stand to get. Tell us about what parents tend to gain if they come to your academy. Thank you. Over to you, Captain.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll talk before the the
Dean
dean
of
of
faculty.
the faculty. Yeah,
The
what she
VC.
says. Yeah, the vice chancellor. Um, but I think, like you said, it's multi-dimensional. And like we said, there are a lot of things people send children to school uh, that they really do not that really doesn't reflect in their day-to-day lives as they grow up. Um, um, Life would school you, but we don't want children to wait till that point where they start learning lessons as they grow. There are certain things that the academy has put in place to make sure that children are equipped as they grow. They understand because there is a lot of access to information, and if it's not properly handled, there is a tendency for it to be abused. There's a high tendency to be abused. And so, what the academy does is, first of all, it's a partnership with the parents. So it comes to enhance your parenting. It doesn't replace your parenting. It can only enhance. So whatever you've put in, it enhances your parenting, which gives some level of validation to the children about what their parents have been saying, and puts and takes the pressure off their parents in terms of helping them with those family values, personal values, ethics, character, understanding social skills, and helping them to build confidence around themselves and the things that they should know. One of the things that actually builds confidence for children is information, right? If I know what I should know, then I'm not timid about a situation because I'm fully equipped for that situation. The other day, my wife was talking to a couple of children, and it was about um, first time menstruation. And I'm sure those conversations, they don't have it with their parents because parents don't even know what to say to children about that. And, you can imagine a child not knowing what's happening to her and then probably asking another friend who may be a class ahead of her. And that other person, whatever information that person gives her is what she will take because she's scared introducing that conversation to her parents. And that is a very critical life defining moment for that child. If she doesn't know and understand um, all of those information, it becomes a challenge for her in future. And if whoever informs her in a wrong direction, she would follow that path, right? And would have gone far in that direction before having that conversation with her parents. So these are some of the critical life lessons that the academy brings to bear, not just to girls, but also to boys, teaching them and helping parents. So it's partnership with the parents. It is a win-win for the children because it gives them that esteem because they know so much about their social life, about their physical life, and what to expect as they grow. Understanding things about resolution of conflict, building trust. I mean, these are things
Emotional
that,
intelligence.
a lot of emotional intelligence, right? These are things that may not be taught conventionally in their schools at this moment, so that they grow and enhance, before life demands an answer for them. So these are some of the benefits they get as they attend the class. But I'll hand over
In
to
fact,
the
I'm just
dean here so that she
I'm
can.
just excited.
Yeah, excited.
No,
She's
what I
always
mean,
excited.
Carl has said a lot. He has really said a lot.
I've not said it all.
Yo, no. So we just talked about us being in a generation where a lot of things are happening very fast. Like we're in the digital world, Generation Z, and all of that. So the academy is here to bridge that gap in partnership with the parents, and that's the truth. In fact, most of the things he was saying were just feedback. I mean, amazing feedback we have gotten. And I tell some parents that you don't expect a microwave change, anything that will last, just like you don't learn mathematics in a day. This is life skills, life lessons. We will be unfair to make them grab it at once. In fact, I should be scared. It is a process, and that's why it is taxing on our part. In fact, if you see the way we run it, it's really taxing. Sometimes I'm literally some understanding parents will have to buzz me after the class to say well done and thank you. I mean, because it's a lot. You get it? And so we've structured it in such a way that it runs like the regular school. I have not seen it. For me, I consider this the first of its kind because I've not seen it anywhere. It is actually running like the regular school every 3 months, but it's just that we are not doing 3 terms like the school. We are doing four because we have three months into four. So we are covering the 4 months of the year. You get it? Four, three
Quarters.
months, 4 quarters. Yes, three months, 4 quarters in the year. So I mean, these are there was feedback. I mean, one of the parents recently, the child is having anger issues, and then we just took the child through something. You needed to have seen the feedback, and guess what? She said, "Funny enough, some of those things you told him, I have told him before." You get it. But why is it now? One of the things Carl said, reinforcing learning, partnering with them, and psychology, because of the generation we are in. Okay,
Approach.
the approach this child had to do a video telling other children to come join the club. That I mean, he's getting better because we have to start no anger challenge. You get it. So for me, I am excited. I'm excited, and I consider this a big calling because sometimes I'm like, should I just stop this because it is stretching? But the future is at stake here. The future is at stake. So I would rather parents even look out of the because I mean the fee is even very affordable. Look out of the fee and then say, okay, this is what we want to do for the betterment of our children. A lot of things are happening. What is the concept of money? What is value? Money is a means of is exchange. So when someone wants to cut soap, and makes money now. Like, but I'm sure you understand. Okay, for those that are not in Nigeria, cutting of soap is what is on now. Like young people, they just cut soap base. Like they want to make money. But we are
Rituals.
teaching rituals, yes. But we're teaching them systems, processes. Like it's an exchange. You need to give value to get something. So all of those things put together, and of course having a session with the parents again, because you cannot be working on the children like then it will be like putting a new wine inside
An
an
old
old
bottle.
wine
Old,
skin.
your old wine.
So the parents will have to purge, renew, and that's why they also need to attend their session to say that okay, this is what we are doing with the children, and this is the outcome so far. You have to align. You have to purge out all of those your old syllables and everything, so that together we can raise
Yeah.
this
Sorry,
generation.
just to add to what she's saying, because no matter what you teach, if it doesn't align with what the parents are going to reinforce, the teaching is lost
Yeah,
basically.
like pouring water in the
Yeah.
basket.
So the parents need to come into that partnership where whatever is being taught is something that's carried over at home
Reinforced
and
at home.
reinforced and becomes a pattern and a system.
The culture.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tim Cap. We're excited about those beautiful words from you.
Yeah.
In fact, those must have been years of personal investment, years of investment, which is huge for you to be getting such an amazing result in a short time when you deal with kids. So thank you for your time this wonderful evening.
Thank
I
you.
just want to let you know that your product is what we're going to be discussing next month. Basically, your product, your books. I
Okay.
know you wrote some books. When married doesn't make sense, I have to find a way to get my own copy so that I can quickly read it and share it. Because I think there's a connection between parenting and the marriage too.
Oh,
Why?
big
Because
connection. Yeah.
so we've got to establish that from the beginning so that we won't before we go deep in this parenting. So there's a connection with that. So from there we'll now move to what parenting. So I want to thank everyone that joined us on Instagram. I want to thank
Thank
everybody that will join that will see this video later. I want to thank you for
you.
creating time to listen to these wonderful messages from this wonderful couple, Tim Cow, Florence,
Thank you.
and Chukwueke Cow from Lagos, Nigeria, doing marvelous and inspiring job in the family life industry. And their core is parenting. So I am telling you, let us exalt his name by sending our kids to these couples academy. Why? Because there's an adage that says the omotia corner, which means the kid that will refuse to train now is going to want to be the one that will sell the
Yeah.
properties later. So, and it's important that we follow that step. So, and on this edition, we've come to the end of parenting. I've come to the end of parenting as a project big deal from Lagos, Nigeria. Your final words, sir, before we leave tonight.
The final word is, I mean, it's a famous word by my wife, that you cannot repair a broken habit. It's practically impossible. So we have all the time now. Let's make the time.
Thank you so much. Your final word, ma'am.
Final word. As much as that word is, it is better to build a child than to repair an adult. But as much as we would say that, for any adult that needs repair, that is not keeping quiet about anything. If you notice anything that is happening, no matter how grown up that child has become, it is important to get help. Get help. It is better to be humble enough to get help than to be too proud and lead both yourself and the child to destruction. Because for every child you parent, that child is representing a nation. So which nation are you parenting?
Awesome, awesome. Which nation are you parenting? Is the final word of the captain's wife this wonderful evening from Lagos,
Mhm.
Nigeria. And over to you. Which nation are you parenting? That's where we draw the curtain this wonderful evening. Wonderful evening. Thank you. God bless you, people, and all over the world. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for having us.